Hey guys, and welcome to the Diablo 4, that's 3, 4 quarterly update, and it's pretty massive. I don't think that it's really jumped into anything that we kind of didn't know already, but it did kind of jump into a little bit more of the storytelling, kind of expanded some of the items and stuff like that. But let's get into it, kind of see where they're going with this, and kind of the overview, as it were. They've done playtests. They're doing it home from this, basically, that you can see. Doing a lot of it home, especially for COVID. They're playing around in PvP subzones and stuff like that. It feels like they're not going to do... They are going to have open world PvP, but specific areas are in the works, it kind of feels like, from what they've kind of talked about and stuff like that, especially with them playtesting in that regards. Especially, I mean, it's not alpha yet, so or it is alpha, but it's not going to be released for us to play it probably anytime soon. And it feels like it's a lot different than when it was playtested, I believe, in 2019, where a lot of the big boys got to play it. So this is something that I was really, really happy with. If you can see here, basically, this is their overview of what they are doing for the whole dungeon aspect and what they're going to piece together. And this really looks good. Blocking or block out. It's a part of development. Visuals are often kept in rough form so the game team can, put in something very quick. Playtest it, see, how it's going to play around, especially with the mobs and the monsters, and then they skin it over with that. And I must admit, I am really... looks good. Looks really good. Let's jump down into... Here we go. Here's some very nice assets. If you can look here, I mean, this is their concept design of... Basically, that looks like a Venom Lord. Looks very, very good. And I'm still loving the aspect that they're going into kind of the dark look, the atmosphere, it's not the rainbow garbage that Diablo 3 did. I mean, this looks very, very clean, very nice, and I think it's gonna actually maybe give that atmosphere that we want back. And especially it starts with the models, with the sound, as you can hear. I mean, I'm still playing the music from Diablo 1. Now, Diablo 2's music is still very good, but it always brings me back to how good the atmosphere of the music really, I mean, and that's in all storytelling. Any movie, if you, Google, YouTube, any, serious part in older movies, and you take out the music, it's kind of bland, it's kind of weird, and it doesn't have the same effect. Music is everything, and that's I'll keep saying that forever. It really adds to it. And if you ever sit down and read a book, listen to music while you're doing it, especially if it's more just instrumental. It'll grab you, I tell you that. But anyways, let's get back into Diablo 4. So a couple of things have evolved, and we are now deliver story in the way they deliver the story in Diablo 4. First, we have conversations. In D3, we relied on UI panes with a character's name and portrait. That was kind of crappy, and it was not a solid story in Diablo 3, so that's not... I don't know if that's fair to say, but from what it looks like here, it's like they're just doing a close-up of whatever conversation they're having, and then you can, discuss inside of that pane, which is kind of cool. For simple interactions with NPCs, we bring the camera in closer to the character while still maintaining an overall isometric feel, and use a library of animations to deliver a general gist of the conversation. For more complex conversations, we take a similar camera approach, but there is character movement animations, more deliberately handcrafted, more like animation, more in-depth, and I bet you that's going to actually get involved more, and they're going to pull you in a little bit deeper. The second storytelling method, we are developing real-time cutscenes, or RTCS for abbreviations. Here we grab your camera and treat the storytelling more like a movie. That's really cool. We should show them early real-time in-game cinematics during BlizzCon demo or cinematic. Okay, so it really is going to go from those cinematics. I'm guessing they're going to polish those, but I think they're like, nope, this is what we're going to do. This is how we feel we want to do this. So I think it's going to be cool. I'm good with the cinematics. I think that's going to be a good storytell. And oh wow, that is, whew. And that's our friend. That's our buddy. Okay, so anyways, let's go into open world. One of the main new features we are bringing to Diablo series is the open world of Sanctuary. Gonna be cool that you can travel from place to place. I wonder if they're gonna do warps. I wonder how that's gonna play itself out. I'm pretty sure that I bet you they will, especially in main hubs and stuff like that. But going to the map here, pretty large, pretty big, especially for an ARPG. I wonder how that's going to play itself out, but I think they'll do it justice. Feels very close to not pillars. Gosh, what am I thinking? My brain's taking a fart right now. Come to me, you can do it. I can't think of it. It's just my brain's totally brain farting right now. Anyways, but it looks like it's going to be kind of open, especially with the play style. I think like that's really it's something that's going to be really cool. If you play Diablo 2, you go to specific areas to do farming, especially for magic finding and for looking for upgraded armors and stuff like that. I hope that's kind of involved in Diablo 4. And I know that they're not going to like slam down your throat. Hey, you have got to go and do the storyline all the way through. If you look at Diablo 2, it's storyline act by act by act. Diablo 3, act by act by act, linear. This feels like it's not going to be linear, and that's kind of cool. I'm kind of digging that. I think it's going to be something that you can touch base on. I would rather have it where it hints at going, down this path. But I mean, we're going to get to the end of the storyline anyways, but I don't want it to be, if you've played Fallout 4, I did not like how open it was, and sometimes it felt like I could never get back to the main story because I kept doing side quests. And I hope that they can find the balance. I know that's tough. I know that's going to be difficult because they want to make it open world. So that's going to be something that's going to be very interesting. They take really like the Path of Exile, which that's my brain fart. There it is. Path of Exile. I hope they go in that direction with some of their stuff, but still keep and innovate their own stuff. And the reason I say that is because that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a Path of Exile. I'm not looking for just a Diablo theme slapped on top of it. That's something I just don't want. I want them to keep their theme and see what some have done right and some haven't done right, and some things that worked out and some that haven't, and make a really good, ARPG that we enjoy. Let's see here. So let's get into open world, which I kind of discussed. Well, we have many open world activities. Hold on one sec. I've got a drink. I've got to. Thank you. Well, we have many open world activities such as crafting events, world PvP, and side quests. Perhaps the most popular open world feature was camps. These are locations of importance that we have been overrun by enemies, which once cleansed turn into friendly outposts. Really cool. Something that is like, hey, you're taking over the world, and I wonder if that's going to be more save state to the single player, and you can go in there, but if you're friends with somebody else and they haven't cleared that particular area, how's that going to work out? That's something I would love to see, kind of how they play that out. While there is backstory to each camp, most of the storytelling is visual, and quests don't really directly send you to them. For example, one of the camps in the zone was a town afflicted by a curse that turned villagers into piles of salt. Another was a crypt haunted by a spirit that possessed the bodies of various undead, jumping from skeleton to skeleton until you defeat them. Really cool. That's something that I hope they expand upon. I hope it's not just like, okay, there's 10, 15 things in this open world, and they carbon copy paste it over to other things. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't think it will, but I hope they don't, take your time, really expand it out. There's many different media out there. I mean, you can go to D&D, you can go to Baldur's Gate style, where, I mean, there's many different ways to kind of expand kind of what you want on like different quests and stuff like that. Something that I really saw in Diablo 3, it was a lot of rehash, a lot of redo over and over again. Diablo 2, amazing game, but at the end of the day, you have to magic find, and you have to find multiple different locations. That's something that I think holds that interest in that game so much, is that not only do the items are necessary, but there's items that are rare and different aspects, crafted items that you can make that are so strong that even a unique can't even surpass them. And we're going from the last update, they didn't want to do like the primal uniques and stuff like that, but I hope they have that aspect locked in of why Diablo 2 is so fun, is because you get that lottery ticket, as it were, is you keep killing this over and over again, then wow, you get this amazing rare, or you get this amazing circlet that's rare, or you get finally that piece you needed to be able to level your character to 99 to actually get to that next level. I hope that that's one of the things that they look into on top of this open world aspect and stuff like that. And another thing that even from reading this, what if the denizens take over again? Like, you've cleaned it out, but let's say you neglect it, you haven't gone back to it in maybe a month or two of in-game time, and then it's taken over again, and you might have to retake it, or something else may have happened, or any of that nature. I mean, just, it's stuff you can throw out there and think about, but that's something that I would love to see kind of where they're going to expand. I mean, this is still early, so we don't know 100% everything, but they're giving us crispy information, I must say. We really dug the impact of seeing the world change as you reclaim a small piece of Sanctuary and bring hope back to its common folk. We look forward to open world designers showing you more about this feature in the future. So that looks like a mini map area of you running around, and it sounds especially like every character is going to have a mount type system. I hope they do mounts, but they don't make you pay for it. Like, you can do a lot of them in quests if you want to change your mount, or if they're just going to keep mounts basic. That's something that I think I touched on last time. I hope that's something that, they kind of, we see what they do. Final mounts were another thing. Hello, talking about it. You could obtain during the playthrough. We really liked how the open world interacts with mounts. You could get into your objective more quickly without traveling. Trivializing travel or combat. Itemization for mounts are also opened up in a new axis of progress. One of my favorite things about mounts was customizing it by attaching a trophy to the saddle to signal to other players that you've completed obscure challenges in the zone. Of course, there's more work to be done on mounts. For example, navigation and tuning. It's currently too easy to get stuck on stray pieces. Collision, of course. Dismounted by a random enemy projectile, of course. These are all things that are just, they need to clean that up, but that's to be expected, but it's in there. I like that aspect that, as you do achievements, because of course Blizzard's going to do achievements, is that's going to be something that they're going to jump into, and you can actually display them. Kind of show them to other players, like, hey, I'm level 90, but I've done some crazy stuff maybe you haven't done. You want to ask me about it. Maybe I can help you through that quest line. Something of that nature. I think it would be sweet. Multiplayer. Fine-tuning the right approach to multiplayer in Diablo 4 has been a challenge. Our goal has always been to incorporate elements from shared world games without the game ever feeling like it's veering into a massive multiplayer territory. To be clear, this is a philosophy rather than a tech limitation. We find the game stops feeling like Diablo and the world feels less dangerous when you see other players too often or in too high numbers. Awesome. If they do something like a hub where there's only 50, like, We went from 4 from Diablo 4. Then we went to 8. If they did like 50 or something of that nature in such a big world, you might run into a couple people. But talk to them only if you're near them. The sucky thing is that you're going to run into people, especially if there's areas that have this character that's a super unique, that's always there, kind of like Pendleskin. Are you going to run into people all the time? Same time, all the time, because everybody's farming that specific character. And especially when I did BattleNet and I was magic finding all the time and looking, I was creating new rooms every single time, private rooms, but you know, you kill Pendle, leave, go do it again, solo. And that's what you needed to do to get some of the better gear. Really, the only thing that I remember that did a lot of multiplayer is power leveling with other friends, and leveling when you're in the 90s, that leveling aspect of going into cows, burning it down, leaving, starting again, over and over again. And this was before Discord and voice chat and all that kind of stuff. So you had a group of people that were in the same channel, chat channel, and you said, okay, I'm going into this group, this private game, doing it over and over again until you reach 99. That's the multiplayer that I remember. I would love to see how that's going to play out, especially on quest and bosses and stuff like that. I know you can add them in, and there are especially bosses that you're going to be fighting that it's easier, and you definitely almost wanted to have those other players with you, maybe 2 or 3, so that you can get through the quest line. It'll be interesting to see, but I know for me, Diablo itself was a lot of solo play. I didn't play a lot with multiplayer, so we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Hopefully it does make it enjoyable, especially if you're in voice communication with a couple of friends and you're playing. That's awesome. But for me, it was really not a huge multiplayer unless you're talking about, you know, when Diablo 2 was in full swing. Diablo 3 for me felt like it was just solo play. I barely played with anybody, and that's because it was just greater rift farming and getting those items just to push greater rifts higher and higher with your character. That kind of sucked. So I wonder how they're going to actually break that experience and bring that multiplayer kind of into it. So he's going to break down experiences during the playtest. That some examples: dungeons and key story moments are always private, just the player and their party. Cool. Once the story moments are complete and the town's turned into a social hub, you'd run into a few people in town. While on the roads, you'd sometimes run into a player here and there. And then finally, if you went to a location where a world event was happening, you would see a larger congregation of players trying to defend against an attack by a cannibal horde or trying to take down. That's pretty cool. So that could, I think the world events is definitely going to be something that's really awesome. That's something that World of Warcraft Classic, pardon me, but that was something that I really loved, especially when not Classic itself, but Vanilla WoW. When Vanilla WoW really came out and everybody was new, it was something that no one had ever seen before. But when you went to, kill, I'm totally space cadetting, but let's see here. Vanilla WoW outdoor bosses. So let me look here. So you had, of course, you had Azure Ghost and Lord of Kazakh. That's something that was amazing. That was something that was really fun because you had both sides trying to get there as fast as possible and take it down. And that's what I remember. That was huge. And then another one that I remember was the outdoor bosses. Where are they? There we go. Okay. So the Dragon's Nightmare, Emerus, Letheon, Ysander, and Terra. I remember doing those bosses. That's something that I hope that if they bring that in, that feel into Diablo 4, I think that will really make a multiplayer aspect really fun and enjoyable. So I think that's going to be kind of really cool. And from this picture, that looks like a world boss. That doesn't look like something that, oh, I can take that on. Yeah, it's fine. So, okay, items in progress. One of the things that were really very useful about that was very useful about our 2 days playtest was that we could get better feedback on progression, as there was a sense of permanence. Jesus, gear and skill choices that you make on one day have an impact on day 2. That's cool. I know they're going to add an aspect where you can re-talent, reset your stats, and hopefully they do it the same in where you can reset your talents, change stuff, but it's difficult. You have to go and fight a boss and maybe collect reagents to do such things instead of just, okay, we can click it. No, we can change it. I don't want to play this playstyle. I want to go into a different one. I've got the items for it, so I'm going to change into this one. No, I don't like that. That was Diablo 3. No, wasn't fun. Really, that was one of the biggest things, is that there was no permanence in it. And there was many a times where I played where you didn't even have that, especially before. If you screwed up and put a talent point in the wrong space, or if you lagged out, oh my god, I remember having a 99 or a 99 barbarian that had 3 points in axes, and I had the hacked two-handed sword and a grandfather, and I was like, crap, I put it in the wrong points. I need to level another barbarian. Leveled another barbarian, got him to 99. It took a month or so, and this was before getting to 99 was very difficult. Now, in the patches that are out like 1.13 and above, back then they were not that hard. It was hard, but not as hard as it is now. And especially when you're doing multiplayer and having 8 players and doing those cow runs, you know, you could do them pretty fast. Take 5 minutes, boom, done, do it again. And that was something that was very interesting. I'm not a fan of what I'm looking at right here. And the reason that is, I don't care about this. I hope it's an item that looks like an item and not something that is like this. And some of the stats that I'm seeing on here, I'm not a fan of. Let's get, this is going to be legendary. So let me see here. I'm gonna load up. Let's get some Diablo going. Okay. All right. Yeah, so let me just get into my Diablo 2 character. So as you can see, like, this is what I want to see. I don't want to see, and actually, you know what? Let me minimize this just a little bit because it's too big. As you can see, like this ear, or this nature's balance, I don't get that. Like this, I mean, that's beautiful. That's something, it's like, it's a tangible item. It's something that you can feel, and when you're looking at it. I hope it's not this little icon crap. I hope it's not like that. I hope it's somewhere in this vein where you have the item, it tells you what's in it, what's the durability. I'm not even seeing durability on here, but it is early. We don't know what the item's going to be. Hopefully they don't take away durability and stuff like that. Hopefully they don't take requirements, and I just I don't know. I'm not digging that. Not digging that at all. Okay, that's something. From what it looks like, I'm not having fun with that one. Okay, the overall feedback from the team was that even as the early stages, Diablo was very fun to play. Of course, the class was specifically going down a promising path that we're excited about. We're taking cues from what makes the barbarian arsenal system of the druid shaping you feel special and looking where. See, that's cool. I mean, hopefully that is going to be something that's going to be very, you know, you're going to need that character. You're going to need a barbarian. You're going to need a, you know, that'll help with the multiplayer aspect. Diablo 3 Their support characters that I, especially on the 4-man Greater Rift pushing, having a support druid, or I'm sorry, having a support crusader was something really big. And of course they nerfed the crap out of that, but that was something that I think that was an aspect that is really cool. That's something that you're like, hey, the character wasn't built to be the guy that's going to destroy everything, but man, you get him in a group, that's awesome. And that's the thing, it's just, that's MMOs. I mean, you go to EverQuest, you go to World of Warcraft, the healer, yeah, wasn't the most badass, but it was integral to the story, to the party, everything. So that's something that's really cool. That, wow. This, I mean, it's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful looking game, and this is not final pre-alpha. Beautiful. So, not happy with this. Hopefully we get a better indication what they're going to do here. That, man, oh man. I mean, let's see here. Can I... Yeah, let's open this up a little bit. Okay. I just do not like it. I don't care about this. Like, where are the stats? A little bit Diablo 3 for me. A little bit Diablo 3. I mean, that's something I'll worry about, because I don't want people putting on something, oh, well, it's better. I don't want that. That's something that's going to really bother me. Because having something better doesn't mean it is better just because it has better stats. Does that fall into place with your playstyle? Would you use, you know, something that has low damage, but it adds, you know, ignores target defense, or applies bleeding that nothing else applies bleeding, but this does? And you really want that because you're doing huge farming and you're grabbing a ton of units or mobs, and you're chewing them down through dot damage. This, you know, I don't know, like crushing blow damage, like, is that the only thing that has crushing blow? There is the requirements, but like, what level? Can I go MF farm all of this stuff and put on my level 1 character? And yeah, I might not have that effect, but I will definitely have this effect right here. Like, I don't know just yet, but I hope they don't go the Diablo 3 route in itemization. That's the only thing I hope they don't do. I hope they go the Diablo 2 route in itemization, because I think that really hit a spot. That's why the game is so big in where people are still playing it, and people modified it to have pluggy and that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. But with this update, pretty cool. I mean, the multiplayer they touched on, the open world they touched on, what they're going to do with mounts they touched on. Pretty sweet. How they're doing storytelling and cinematics, awesome. I want to know how they're going to do teleportation, though. I hope it's not you're always on your mount. Maybe you just teleport to main hubs, where it's maybe 6 or 7 places, and it's not like each act like Diablo 2 or Diablo 3. But looks really cool. I'm pretty happy with what I'm looking at. So anyways, guys, hopefully this update, you know, kind of brings in just a little bit for you, makes it a little bit happier of where they're going, what steps they're taking. But you know what? We'll see you next time. Always check me out on Twitch. I'm doing a lot of Diablo 2 farming and stuff like that. And leave a like if you enjoyed it. Later, guys.